Rabbi Reuven writes something that he witnessed himself as far as he spoke to the people after finding out the story itself, and to make sure that every single thing was true. And he says he heard this story originally from Rabbi Eliezer Moshe Mipinsk, but he went and he spoke to the people after and verified that every detail was right. Meaning, first-hand story. He says that there was a person by the name of Rabbi Neta who was well-to-do, had a few dollars, but also kept Torah and mitzvot. He had one daughter, which he married off to an avrech, under the conditions that the avrech would learn Torah full-time, and Rabbi Neta would pay for it for 10 years. While the wife, his daughter, the Rabbi Neta's daughter, would manage a store. She'd work in a store to make ends meet, whatever was missing now, but he would give them money for 10 years. So the avrech, Tamid Chacham, good guy, learns for 10 years straight. After 10 years, Rabbi Neta stopped giving the money. That was the deal. So the wife says to the avrech, to the husband, what are we going to do now? So the husband says, listen, I can't leave this. The learning Torah, I got to learn. That's what I do. So okay, listen, since you need to learn, 100%, I agree with you. Why don't you just help me out in the store for 2 hours? Rest of the day, learn. 22 hours a day you have. Do whatever you need to do. 2 hours, help me in the store. That's it. I said, fine. Listened to his wife, went to the store, 2 hours. Before you know it, store got busy. 2 hours became 3 hours. 4 hours, 5 hours. Within a matter of a few months, completely full-time, that he got to a point where he wouldn't even study one daf of Gemara. Nothing. Stopped studying altogether. One day the wife gets some water from the well, takes a drink, and gets into a shock. Goes into a shock, people see something happened, they're not sure what it is. She's not communicating. Strange voice. People are saying maybe it's a Dibbuk, which is in essence a spirit of someone that's being punished for their sins that's still running around the world, entered her. Because when they enter the person, their punishment is lessened, because they're harbored by the person's body. But they also torture the person by taking over. People start saying there's a voice, there's this. You have to go to an expert. You can't just say everybody that's losing their mind has a Dibbuk. So Rabbi Reuven continues and he says they went to Rabbi Mendel in a city called Shtutin, who was an expert in this. They bring the woman there, and Rabbi Mendel says, listen, let's see. Looks at the woman, starts communicating, and a voice comes out. But one of the signs that it's a Dibbuk is that a voice comes out, but the lips don't move. He says, okay, this is a sign, but it's not 100%. You're not convinced yet. He says to the voice, who are you? And the voice says, I am such and such. Says, why are you here? What are you doing? He goes, I'm hiding. Who are you hiding for? I'm hiding from the Malachei Chabalah, the angels of destruction that are following me and torturing me. So Mendel knows exactly who these Malachei Chabalah is and what their names are. He says, how many do you have? He says, 5. What's their names? And he gives them the names of all 5. When Mendel says, this is Dibbuk. says, who are you? Why are you here? What happened to you? He says, I used to be a avrech. And then I decided to follow my desires, leave town, and before you know it, I made every single sin under the sun. And what happened to you was I died in an accident. Fell off of a carriage. I died in an accident. And I've been tortured by these angels for many, many years now. So Rabbi Mendel says to him, he goes, why didn't you do tshuva? You obviously knew some Torah, you were from your past. He says to him, from the fear of the death that was happening from the accident, I forgot all about it. I forgot about doing tshuva last minute. You know, a lot of people say, no, listen, you can do tshuva last minute. What last minute? You think the Satan is going to remind you, oh, by the way, do tshuva? He worked on you his whole life to make sure you go to his section of Gehenom, and now he's going to tell you to do tshuva last minute. So Rabbi Mendel says to him, okay, so you didn't do tshuva and now you're being tortured. But what do you have with this woman? Why are you in her? And then the Rabbeinu Lopian says, a very loud laugh came out of the woman. Really, really long, big laugh that everybody heard. He says, this woman's mother who passed away and her husband's mother who passed away, both of them were crying in Shamayim to Hashem to send me into her. Because she took her husband out of the kollel from learning Torah, and they both knew that she's going to go to Gehenom permanently for it, and there's no other way to wake her up other than this. For what she did of taking her husband out of learning Torah, she's getting prosecuted for the whole thing. Now that he doesn't learn Torah and everything else, off the derech, everything, all is on his wife. Because she started with the idea of 2 hours a day. And her mother came up to Hashem, she was tzadikah mom, came up to Hashem, started crying. At the same time, his mom came up to Hashem and said, crying. Why? Because look what happened to my son. And they're both crying. Hashem says, okay, you have permission to go in. Because that's the only way that's going to wake her up. When Rabbi Mendel heard this, and Rav Neta heard this, and the husband heard this, everybody understood there's only one thing to do. What do they do? Do tshuva. They're all committed to learning Torah, doing this, doing that. And he said that it's time for you to leave, said certain types of names, and then Rabbeinu Lopian says there was suddenly an enormous supernatural voice coming out of the woman that was heard throughout the entire city. Meaning it's not a normal voice that comes from a throat that, could reach a certain distance. A voice, supernatural voice, came out of this woman saying, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And suddenly, her nail and her pinky broke off, the glass broke in the windows, and she came back to normal. And that's usually what happens with these Dibbukim. You see that usually they have to exit a certain part of the body, which causes some type of break or damage to the body, but they ask the Dibbuk usually to leave to the pinky or the toe or somewhere small, because if they leave anywhere else, they would kill the person. But nonetheless, Rabbeinu Lopian, one of the Gedolei Ador, says this is a story. I heard, then I went, I spoke to the woman. And I spoke to her husband, and that's exactly what it was.
B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach, we're very excited to offer you the new Be'ezrat Hashem app 3.0. It's a newer, faster app, full of Torah, lots of Kedusha by the Shiurim that we do, myself, Rav Ephraim, Rav Chaim, where you'll have also newer features where you're able to use the app while you're using other applications on your phone. You'll be able to share the lectures directly from the app. You'll be able to donate online and support our Kiruv and our Torah work that we're doing. And the most exciting feature is that you'll be able to actually ask questions directly on the app and get answers from the rabbis directly from the app. This is something unprecedented, and Baruch Hashem will be able to offer it. Thank you again for all of your support. Check it out. Make sure you have the kosher Torah that will re-energize your neshama each and every single day. Kol tu b'chava tzlacha.